You're listening to the Midlife Plot Twist podcast, and this is episode 11. Hi everyone, I am a bit late posting today's episode. My goal is usually to post the episode by 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Mondays, but it's almost 11 a.m. now, and I'm just getting to recording. Then I have to edit, so it looks like today I'll be posting around noon or so. There's just over a week left of 2025, so I wanted to encourage you to access the free Taking Stock of 2025 workshop I created as a holiday gift for you. It's available until December 31st. You can access it through the link in my Instagram bio or by emailing me for access. It's called Taking Stock of 2025, a year-end midlife reflection. There's a workbook and a recording available for you that revolve around the action of taking some time before the year ends to reflect on the year that we've just finished before entering the new year ahead. That was a mouthful of time. The questions ask you to focus in on things like your beliefs about midlife, who you want to become as you progress through midlife, reviewing how you've felt this past year, and what you envision for 2026. I hope you gain some clarity as you go through the workshop. As I said, if you haven't accessed it, please head over to my Instagram account at Midlife Plot Twist Podcast or email me at midlifeplottwistpodcast@gmail.com for access. I think this week, I'd like to talk about midlife acceptance. And what do I mean by this? Up until last year, 2024, I never really thought of myself as someone who is in midlife. I both didn't think about it, and I think I was holding on to the identity or the idea that it was like I was still in my 30s, just older. I know that probably doesn't make any sense, but that's it. Nothing about midlife stood out to me other than it being something that felt uninspiring, a bit depressing, and somewhat scary. Aging for women isn't, generally speaking, something that is encouraged by the mainstream. And there's so much out there that is marketed to us to keep us striving to look and feel younger than we are when we're in midlife. Or our older years beyond midlife. And what I notice about this is that the unspoken or maybe sometimes spoken outcome of that, or the result of that, is that we equate midlife and getting older with bad or negative characteristics and associations. There are three main things that have kept me from really acknowledging, embracing, and identifying with midlife as a woman in my 40s. And those things have to do with, number one, my career, which I'm in the process of letting go of that. Number two, my previous life stages being atypical. And number three, looking younger than I am, at least for now. So as far as my career is concerned, I am surrounded by people in their early 20s every day. And while most people in their 40s are likely surrounded by people who are roughly their peers day in and day out at work, I am predominantly surrounded by 20-somethings. That doesn't make me feel like I'm a 20-something, but in my efforts to empathize and relate to my students, I think I've held on to the more youthful, younger parts of myself, and I think I try to shine those more than the older, wiser, more experienced aspect of myself. Also, I'm someone who has had to work through a lot of issues to do with belonging and fitting in over the course of my life. And I think that I probably also was emphasizing that younger aspect of myself to kind of try to fit in with the students or to blend in. This, of course, isn't conscious or intentional. It was quite automatic. The second thing that has kept me from embracing my 40s and midlife is that my life stages have been all out of sync with those of my peers. In my 20s, when my peers were out partying and moving away from home, out of their hometown, trying on different identities and finding their independence, I was at home with a newborn baby. I was isolated and decided to work really hard at my new identity of being a mom. And then towards my 30s, I realized that I didn't want to keep cobbling together part-time jobs and making very little money. I wanted more and better for myself and my daughter, and I felt that I could do more and different things than I was doing at the time. So I decided to go back to school, where I was the oldest person in my class. And as I continued on, I was in my 30s when I started my master's degree, where I made new friends. And as a result of that, I'm still friends with some of these people, and most of the people I spend time with, I forgot to mute my phone. Probably heard that ping. What was I talking about? My friends that I've made who are in their 30s. Yeah, so I don't know. Most of my friends are in their 30s and are now just approaching their 40s as I am approaching my 50s. I also find that now that my daughter is grown and is an adult, my peers still have somewhat young kids at home. Not babies necessarily, but maybe some of them do, but they're still raising children, and I'm done. So I'm still in this different zone than my peers. And then number 3 is that I look younger than I am, at least for now. I don't say that to boast or whatever. I just do. I don't have a lot of fine lines and wrinkles on my face, and I don't know. I guess I have a youthful genetic makeup or something. Actually, I I recently did a longevity testing thing, which involves some extensive blood work, and I think they refer to it as like our metabolic age or genetic age or something like that. And anyways, my genetic age or whatever it is 8 years younger than I am, so I guess that's a good thing. Um, yeah, I've done my best to take care of myself over the course of my 20s and 30s, and although I've had my fair share of health issues, including cancer in 2016 and my hysterectomy and things in 2024, I never had a decade of like partying hard and being rough on my body like many do in their 20s when they're having fun. I also just remember that my fiance is also several years younger than I am, and so there's that as well. So, all of this aside, I think I mentioned that I lost both of my parents in 2021, making me the eldest generation in my family, and that I had to have a hysterectomy and oophorectomy last year. And these two things caused me to really sort of realize my age and stage in life. And the thought, as well as the thought of going into menopause early, that really hit me. And these things caused me to start examining my identity as someone who is in midlife. So here are some things that I've embraced as the result of this and in to live according to my best midlife self. Number 1, I embrace that I used to fight this, but I embrace that my body will no longer tolerate neglect, abuse, late nights, late morning sleep-ins, poor dietary choices, things like this. My body has changed and is changing. And all of this has meant that, well, the big thing is that I'm leaving my career. I can't work my career in a way that is physically sustainable for me. I've been trying for 8 years, and with life being what life is, I've been unable to sustain my health and well-being while working in this career, despite the things that I still love about it. And, I still wish that I could, but I am accepting that I can't, and I no longer will. The second thing is that now that my daughter is an adult and taking care of herself and living her own life, I have the time and space to devote some years to nurturing, raising, and caring for myself. I have hugely neglected myself over the last 3 decades. I was very preoccupied with external development and things external to me, like my daughter, rightly so. The pursuit of a life partner, the pursuit of an education and a career. Through these things, I neglected my internal world to a certain extent, and I am so loving and this I'm loving this stage of my life where I can focus in on who I am and what I want, and trying to work towards these things that I feel passionate about. The third thing is accepting who I am as I am, right here, right now, no questions asked, no ifs and or buts. I don't know if you just heard that knock sound. I am waving my hands around while I'm talking and I hit the microphone. And I will not edit that out because I don't have time. So, so for the vast majority of my life, I've been obsessed with losing weight and achieving a certain body type. The weight loss goal and the body type have changed over the years based on what advertising, TV, and film stars look like and that I'm consuming and envying. But weight loss has been a goal that has remained constant. This also keeps me focused outside of myself and wanting to achieve a look, believing that it would make me happy, that it would make me feel less insecure, that it would get me a life partner that I longed for so desperately, that it would make me worthy of love and time and attention if I just lost weight and changed my body type. Over the past few decades, I have been nearly 100 pounds lighter or smaller than I am right now. And I am currently at the largest or heaviest weight that I've ever been. And I have been everything in between. And I've learned that at all of these stages, I haven't liked myself. I would look at pictures of a previous version of myself and think, oh my God, what I would give to be that size and look like that again. And then I remembered that at that size, looking like that, I wasn't happy. I would think of something else that was smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And so one of the things that I have accepted is, I won't be satisfied until I'm invisible, maybe, because you can't just keep getting smaller and smaller. So, yeah, I was never happy. And that is because it was never about my weight. Yes, we can focus on the weight for health reasons, or in terms of fitness, for health reasons, for example, at the moment, I have hypertension and my cholesterol isn't great. So I've been working on that. But these things are not moral issues. And this is something that I've learned in midlife. These things are not moral issues. They don't mean that I'm a bad or a good person. My weight isn't a moral issue. I have learned to accept and love myself no matter what. And that doesn't mean that I don't want to change my hair sometimes, lose some weight, get a new style of clothing, whatever. It just means that those things are no longer attached to my sense of self-worth. Thank God. I feel like this episode is getting longer than my usual 10 to 15 minutes. So I'll wrap up with 5 things that have helped me with midlife acceptance. The first thing is, or has been, consuming content on Instagram, for example, that features women in midlife who are vibrant, interesting human beings with full and meaningful lives. This past year, I intentionally started to seek out content, films, books, clothing styles, and so on for women, by women in midlife. And it has helped me tremendously with acceptance. And if you're someone who I follow on Instagram, who follows me, you are likely one of these people. So thank you. Number 2 is, it might feel a bit scary and like something to avoid, or I don't know, but death. Death has helped me to accept and embrace midlife. I'm not getting younger. I've started to experience the deaths of loved ones in my life, and I've gone through cancer myself. All of this makes me realize that tomorrow is never guaranteed. And so I don't want to squander the time that I have in this life wishing that I wasn't in midlife. Getting to midlife, I think, is a gift since it's not a guarantee. So many people never reach it or get to experience it. And so I want to embrace that. Number 3 is surrounding myself with kick-ass women who are embracing midlife, its changes, its challenges, and its offerings. And I am trying to build this community and friendship network of women who are in midlife where we can explore this and create and feel passionate about it and not just bogged down by all the focus on our perimenopause. And although that is so important to talk about and share on and commiserate about, but there are so many other things to who we are and what we want and what we're capable of that there are so many things to talk about, and I want to connect with you about those things too. Number 4 is that I am grateful. It's helped me to accept midlife by being grateful for this stage. That might have been a little fake it till you make it when I first started, but I am grateful that midlife has brought me so many gifts so far. The ones that stand out most to me right now are new senses of security, stability, love, and groundedness in who I am. And finally, number 5 is knowing that midlife acceptance isn't so much a destination that you're going to arrive at or that I'm going to arrive at, but that it's a process that we as women work at every day. Midlife acceptance is a series of small permissions that we give ourselves over and over and over each day to be unapologetically who we are, and making the choice to choose ourselves every single day. Okay. I think that's it for this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to access my free resources and feel free to reach out to me by email with any questions or things you might like to share. I would love to hear from you. And also on Instagram, feel free to comment on anything or ask me questions. I would really love to engage with you. So, yeah, that's it for this week. Until next week, be well.